Hello, hello, wealthy family. It is I, Charlene, and I am back with another one. I know, it's been a long time. Forgive me, but yet here I am showing up for you like I always do when I feel intuitively called to do so. So, today we have a very special one. I had to make a comeback because I met an amazing young man. Maybe not so young, but he'll let you guys know. And I just felt like this is a beautiful person that I have to introduce you guys to for so many reasons. He has touched base with some of the people that we talk about on this show: Les Brown, Brian Tracy. And to say he's humble is not words enough to express how beautiful of a person he is. And I'm not saying this because he's touched base with all these people and yet he's still such a humble, beautiful person, willing to come and share with our small community. But what I admired and loved about him, and one of the reasons I got him on this show, is because he's so authentic and he truly cares, like me, about the people that he shares information with. He cares about making an impact and a difference on this planet. And as you guys know, that's something that vibe really deeply with me because after all, we are conscious business services and opportunities. So I'm not going to say more because I might just ruin it. He will tell you more about himself. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Danielle Wood from the Swedish Wealth. Yes, I said it. Wealth Institute. Please welcome Danny to the stage. Danny, welcome in.
Oh, thank you so much. I don't know if I could live up to that amazing intro, but I'll do my best.
You are too kind. Told y'all how humble he is. He is such a beautiful soul. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna take myself off stage for a moment for you to just introduce yourself to this amazing community here. Tell them a little bit about who you are, what you do, and then we'll get right into it.
All right, that sounds great. So I'm super honored to be connecting with all of you and this community. I met Charlene just a few weeks ago at our event that we were running towards North America. So I run the Swedish Wealth Institute, which basically, well, what our mission is, it's to connect you with the right person, the right mentor at the right time to help you take that next step. And we do this through our community, we do it through our podcast, we do it through our social media, and we do it through our events. So we've been doing events for about a decade and are blessed to just work with some of the most amazing people in the world. Like Charlene mentioned, we work with Nick Vujicic, Robert Kiyosaki, Les Brown, Brian Tracy, Jack Canfield, Rob Moore, John Azarif, Dr. John D. Martini, Joseph McClendon III, and just a whole host of absolutely amazing people from all over the world. And well, like I said, the goal is for us not to just give you, the chance to learn from these people, but really to connect you to them. So for me, my background came from reading the book Rich Dad Poor Dad and getting really excited about real estate and saying, I really got to get into this. This will allow me to build a future for myself, for my family. And I followed all the steps you're supposed to, right? I found myself a mentor. I bought the biggest, baddest mentorship package I could find, and I ended up getting ripped off for over £400,000. So this was in the UK. That's about $500,000, and it wasn't my money. Some of it was my money, but a lot of it was money I'd raised from friends, from family, from loved ones. And when we lost it all, my accountant told me the only thing to do was to bankrupt the company, and they would lose everything. And I decided that no, we can't do that because they didn't actually invest in these failed property projects. They invested in me, and I wasn't done yet. And that's really what led. Long story short, that's what led to starting the Swedish Wealth Institute. And after a few years, I finally met Kim Kiyosaki, obviously Robert Kiyosaki's wife, the one who actually built and managed their property portfolio. And after me being stuck in this situation for literally years, no idea how to get out of it, spoken to lots of different people, it took her 15 minutes to figure out how to turn my portfolio around. She just looked at it and said, restructure that debt, restructure that deal, do two more deals like that, and you're done. And for me, I mean, obviously it was amazing, right? What it really has meant for me now going forward has been, it's such a light bulb moment where you look at it and go, a bad mentor put me basically in bankruptcy. I lost my home. I ended up losing my marriage, basically losing everything, right? And a good mentor turned it all around in 15 minutes. Uh, and that's what it can do for you, and that's why it's become our mission to connect you to the right mentor at the right time to help you take that next step. Basically, we want to help you find the Kim Kiyosaki for you. And all of our events are free to attend. We see ourselves as trying to democratize success. I've had the blessing to speak a lot to Brian Proctor, who I recently interviewed for our Swedish Wealth Institute podcast, and Jarek Robbins, who I've known for a long time. So they're the sons of Bob Proctor and Tony Robbins. And what I realized in speaking to them is what they learned growing up is very different from what I learned and from what most people learn growing up. And that is what's really made the difference in their lives. And so we're trying to make sure that everyone in the world, we're a ways away from everyone in the world attending one of our events, but our goal is for everyone to be able to join our events, learn these lessons that they didn't get growing up, or they didn't get from school or from the company they kept. And we're trying to give that, and of course we do that through the podcast as well, where you can listen to interviews with absolutely amazing people where they share their difference, because we're trying to figure out, like, what I'm searching for. And I want to say on your behalf, what I'm trying to find the answer for, to be able to give you, is what is the difference that makes the difference? Why do some people become wildly successful and why others don't? Like, what is that difference? And so that's really our mission, to help you figure out and give you the right person to be that person for you. Um, so Charlene, I can continue with our mission and what we're doing, but you're the master here. This is your community, so you tell me where you want me to go.
Absolutely. And that was so beautiful. Thank you for sharing so authentically and genuinely. Like, I didn't know, like, I knew some of the story, but I didn't know that you lost your home, your marriage. And I mean, that just plunged me into one of the questions I like to ask entrepreneurs that come, like, what kept you going? I heard you say, oh, I had other people dependent on me. So I would like to think that maybe you started out with that fire inside of you, and God knows sometimes our fire gets low and dim when these things happen. So,
Yeah.
what really got you out of that dark moment, that
Yeah.
downtime when everything looked like it's collapsing? Was it like, okay, what are the options here? I have no choice but to keep going. What was your motivation to keep going, or inspiration?
That's a brilliant question, because I did have an off ramp. So basically, I could have just thrown everyone else under the bus. Because what happened was, real estate is very slow, right? So it took a while for us to realize that we were $500,000 in debt.
Wow.
And we saw, we started off really hot. The company felt like we were doing well, and our friends and family were investing with us, and everything was just great, right? And then things started to turn around, and we didn't know what it was. It turned out that we were receiving fake build reports, we were receiving fake income reports. There were people stealing money from the company. All these people that we thought we could trust because we'd gotten it from our mentor, turned out that now they were just playing a very nice long game scam and ripping us off. And what happened was, as we saw this, and I was getting more and more stressed. We were probably in this for about a year before I got a call from my accountant, Michael, who called me up and said, Daniel, it's time to bankrupt your company.
Wow.
And
That is
I mean,
heartbreaking.
yeah, well, the thing is, as well, is I know in the US or North
Mhm.
America overall, it's not as big a deal. Like, I've heard on Shark Tank how the sharks kind of joke and say, "Hey, I don't invest in an entrepreneur who hasn't bankrupted 3 companies."
Yeah, it's like a
But
strategy. Yeah.
yeah, it's like it's a part of your career. But in Sweden, where I'm from,
Hmm.
it's the opposite. Like, if you have bankrupted a company in the past, you can kiss credit goodbye. Like, you're never
Oh,
going to get an investor. You're never going to get a bank loan. Like, your corporate career is basically over. So to me, this was like, it's done. I'm going to have to work for the next 40 years of my life. It's over. And so I said to Michael, I'm like, all right, so what's going to happen? What does this mean? He said, well, what we're going to do is we're going to sell the assets you have. We're going to pay back your investors and creditors as much as we can, and then we'll write the rest off, shut down the company, and I'll start a new company for you, and you can start over with all these lessons. And I said, whoa, what?
right?
He's like, yeah, you can start over. So you've learned a lot in these last couple of years. I'm sure it'll go better this time, and we'll start you fresh. I said, well, why did you let me go through this year of pain? Why didn't you just tell me we could do this? Like, that's amazing. Uh, and that was what, I call my off ramp. That was my get out of jail free card, where I could have just said, great, let me start over. But I
Mhm.
asked the question that kind of changed the direction of my life. And I said to Michael, I said, well, what happens to my investors? And he said, well, they invested in failed projects, so they lose everything.
God.
So they lose everything. I start over fresh. That doesn't seem fair. He's like, well, I mean, investing is risky. I said, yeah, but they didn't invest in the projects. They invested in me. He said, well, that's one way of looking at it. I said, that's the only way of looking at it. We're not doing it. We're not bankrupting the company. And he said, what are you going to do? I said, I have no idea, but I'm going to figure it out. And it's still to this day, he says, I'm the only person he's met that has done something so stupid and somehow gotten away with it. So I I take that with a little pride, but it did take years. And
Yeah,
what
but
happened, this is
hey.
what started the Swedish Wealth Institute, because obviously I was a $500,000 in debt. The problem
Mhm.
was no speakers were coming to Sweden. And there's a whole story behind that, but no speakers were coming to Sweden. And we said, well, how are we going to get coaching? Like, I couldn't go to my investors and tell them, hey, I'm traveling for coaching to figure out how to make your money back. They would have just said, well, give us whatever you're going to put into that airplane ticket, right? Give us what you can. And so we realized if we started the Swedish Wealth Institute and
Mhm.
brought speakers to Sweden, we had an audience because we had everyone else that had gone through this education as well. So we were a couple hundred people. So we said, well, if I can introduce speakers to our audience can get help, the speaker gets an audience, and we can take the speaker out to dinner and maybe get some free coaching. So the idea was never to make money; it was to fix our other business.
Right.
And it didn't really help. It took a couple of years, and no one could help us figure it out until that day when finally we were able to bring Kim Kiyosaki to Sweden, and it took her all of 15 minutes to just fix it.
Yeah. I mean, this is really, truly, ladies and gentlemen, a story of perseverance, commitment, and really, truly caring, because he could have just gone on and just restart, reset, and say, forget the investors. But this is one of the things we talk about here. It's about truly caring. It's not just about the coins. Coins are important, it's part of your wealth spectrum, part of the wealth pie, but it's not the only or most important thing. You see, your character, the character you're building. And when you're in your low times like this, it really tells a story of who you truly are. Because, like they say, money is an extension of who you are. You're not good or bad, but, or money, I should say, money isn't good or bad, but
Yeah.
it is an extension of who that person truly is. I mean, my God, you're a gem. Thank you for being authentically you. That is such a beautiful thing. And by the way, guys, please make sure you connect with our guest. His information is in the description. I have my mod, shout out to UK Plus Gaming, sharing the links in the chat as we go through. So make sure you connect with him on YouTube. He's on all social media platforms. Also, you can go to his website directly, and be sure to get into one of those, at least one of those. Oh my gosh, what do you call it?
4-day summits. Yeah.
The summits that he does, because guys, the energy there is amazing. You'll meet great people. You'll hear from amazing speakers that have the world in their palm, like really. And you're going to learn a lot, and you'll have the opportunity to sign up for programs. I signed up for like two or three of them that can really help you. Like, I know I needed to learn more about investing, and already I've learned so much. My program didn't even start yet, but I've learned so much
Oh,
more.
that's
As
amazing.
much as we
Which
know,
speaker is it you've signed up with?
I
I'm
signed
curious.
up with oh my gosh, I'm with Andy. I'm
Yeah.
also with the other guy that's very subtle. He had a new baby. Well, not a new baby, but a new nephew.
Oh,
He was really
Lewis.
Lewis. Yeah, I'm
Yes.
doing his course, and
Yeah.
I'm also doing is it Andy, the AI, because
Oh,
I'm going to
Kane.
create a course, or courses rather, I should say.
Right.
So I'm going to do the AI course.
Oh, so you're doing the AI with Kane Minkus. Absolutely amazing. Everyone in our company has to go through Kane's courses. I pay their salaries to go through that training because they are so good.
Hmm.
We Lewis is, he's one of my best friends. He trained my son. So when my son
Beautiful.
wanted to start investing, I told him, Lewis, train my kid, my oldest son. And Andy's the one who's helped me put together my investing portfolio.
He's helped me look at investing from a totally different perspective, because I was thinking, because I did a training with Darren Winters before, and I've learned so much
Yeah.
from him, but
Mm.
there's so much more to learn.
Yeah.
And Andy, for me, Andy Gupta, by the way, you guys,
Yeah.
Wall
Well,
Street.
Andy Gupta was 20 years on Wall Street
Yeah,
before he
yeah.
got tired of seeing, and especially because he's got two young daughters, and he
Hmm.
saw how women on Wall Street, both in the companies but also on the client side, get
Hmm.
marginalized and not allowed to be a part of the decisions. And he just said, no, I'm done with this world. I'm going to go out and I'm going to show everyone what Wall Street doesn't want you to know. And it was a friend of mine who introduced us just as Andy made that decision. So we were kind of able to grab him and give him his first platform to get the word out. And he is such a game changer because he really shares what Wall Street
Yeah.
is keeping from us, and how much they've stolen from everybody over the
My
last
God, it's just
100 years.
mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Mind-boggling. Like what? Like yeah, because he's teaching us how to like set up portfolios. Because before I would focus on like stocks, or
Yeah.
stocks that I know are going to grow, or at least I think it's going to
You're trying
grow.
to do that perfect stock picking, which,
Right.
I mean, it's like Tony Robbins found that in his book, Money Master the Game, that,
Hmm.
of all the fund managers in the world, and, these are people that all they do is try to pick stocks, 96% of them fail to beat the market average.
Wow.
And then they charge their fees to do that work that is below average. So how can we as individuals expect to do that consistently over time? I mean, I know people that get it right occasionally, but
Hmm.
doing it consistently over time, unless you are a true professional, like we have guys like Robert Raleigh who teach at the summit, but he's got a whole team. He's done it for years. It's
Yeah.
all he does every day, all day. So if you're going to do it as a part-time little gig and you're going to fight with the best in the world and 96% of them still fail to beat the average, I mean, that's going to be
Yep.
tough.
Absolutely. And here's guys, here's what I love about what Danielle does with the Wealth Institute. He would give you the opportunity to meet or hear from different speakers within the same niche,
Yeah.
but you have the opportunity to pick who vibe with you. So he had maybe 4 or 5 different speakers that are talking about investing. Some of them are focused on crypto, some are focused on stocks and building portfolio. And you just go with who vibe with you. And it really gives you the opportunity, because not every teacher is for you. Let's be honest.
No.
Some people, it just nothing wrong with their style, but it's just not for you in the way you learn. So he
Well, and
presents.
it's also, we see, like, we presented 21 speakers at that last summit, and I don't want you to try to work with 21 speakers. That would be
No, that
insane.
would be too
You'd get
much. Yeah.
overload, right? I mean, everyone got overload during those 4 days anyway. The idea is to kind of go, because all you need is one Kim Kiyosaki to change your life, right? So the
Hmm.
idea is for you to find yours. And in your case, you found three, which is awesome. But you don't need to find 21. So you can kind of go, that's cool. I learned a little bit because they speak for half an hour, 45 minutes. I get it.
Hmm.
I understand crypto now. I'm still not going to do it. Or hey, I got to do it. And you can kind of pick and choose.
Hmm. Absolutely. I'm sorry, I have to chew on my berry to keep myself Healthy.
Well, I got my water always, so I'm with you on the health side.
Cheers to that. So tell us a little bit about you and your, not personal, but like let's say you're, do you have like a daily routine, like from the time you wake up and stuff like that? Share that with
Yes.
us.
I am very, very much a routine person. But what's interesting in it, I think, is I've really tailored it to me and how I function. So I don't have a fixed time I wake up.
Mm,
I have my kids every other week. So
mhm.
every other week there is a deadline. I have to wake up by the latest this time because I got to get them to school. But I always wake up before that alarm, and I don't wake myself up at like I have to be up at 5 a.m. I
Mhm.
usually wake up at between 5:30 and 6. But if my body is telling me it needs to sleep until 7, then I sleep until 7.
God, I love you.
Well, it's
I love
important,
you.
right?
And here's why I'm saying that, because I kind of feel the same way. Because for years, well, not years, but when you read certain books or you listen to certain things, it's like, oh, you have to have a routine. And I said, you know what? This is not working for me.
Mm.
I need to work with my flow. So I'm really happy to hear you say that. You're like the first person that I hear, because usually people will go, oh, this is what I do religiously every single day. I'm like, I feel so multifaceted that I cannot
Mm.
keep that thing
No, well, you
going.
got to
Like,
find what works for you. I mean, I then do like I do the same things, but it happens in my flow. And I was
exactly.
speaking to Rob Moore on our podcast, and it was interesting because he's the same way. So I'm sure
Mm.
you'd love that podcast episode. By the way, he's really cool.
I do
Uh,
plan to binge your podcast for the people that I know I'm intrigued by. I do plan to
yeah, I mean
binge
there are
that.
some cool, and you should see the interviews I've been doing just this past week. I've interviewed Jack Canfield, Marcy Shimoff, Brian Proctor, and Mark Victor Hansen, and all four of those
Awesome.
interviews were absolutely insane. And I'm just so excited to get them out. And I'm like, I'm almost going like, let's just put them out now. Let's skip this one a week kind of schedule. People need this. But my team is like, no, because next week we got to put out another episode. I'm like, all right, but I'll find more people. So, but no, so what I then do is after I wake up, I start by taking a walk. So, well, I go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, get ready and stuff. But then I take a walk, and I try to do it as close to after the sun has come up as possible, so that I set my kind of circadian rhythms and connect. I've just started after that interview with Marcy. I've started doing a little meditation during that walk, which is a really cool one where you kind of just for 2 minutes, you stop
Mhm.
and face the sun and you let the sun, hit your eyelids,
Yeah.
and you want to visualize it really, filling up your head like this golden light and going into your pituitary gland and then
Mhm.
allowing it to spread through your body. And it's just a quick little 2 minute, but it opens you up like spiritually. And it's a
Absolutely.
really cool exercise. After my walk, and that walk, it will be as long as I feel like. If I'm feeling stressed about the day, sometimes I make it longer, sometimes I make it shorter. If I have things to think about, I'll let that be. I'll often be sending messages to my team because I'm in Sweden, but we have a lot of our team are in Asia. We have partners
Hmm.
in the US. So like there's always someone who's open to sending me messages. So I'll do kind of what I want on that walk. I get home, I do a morning activation routine where I kind of do a little bit of a workout, a little stretch, a little foam rolling. I then take an ice bath.
What is
I then
foam rolling?
foam rolling. Let me grab it. Let me show you.
Yeah, let's make him solo for this, because I am intrigued. I love
Yeah,
learning
so I
new
got
things
this
about
from
wellness.
from Tom Brady, listening to his book on health. And it's one of these. He has his own kind of line of these. This is a Swedish one, but it's you roll yourself on this and these kind of pressure point into your body. It's absolutely amazing. Oh, you still there, Charlene? I don't know if we lost her, guys. I can talk more foam rolling if you want. Oh, it's nice to see there's so many live in the chat, by the way. Hey, if you guys want to comment in the chat, by the way, if you have questions for me, feel free to ask while we're going. And thank you so much for sharing the YouTube channel. We lost you there, Charlene.
Oh my gosh, so sorry about that. Welcome in, everyone. Oh my goodness. And I was back here talking and asking questions. Like, why is he not answering me? Until you said, oh, wait, she's gone. So I told you I'm not tech savvy, but I'm learning.
Yeah, we're here.
Um,
But here's my
yes,
foam
I was
roller.
asking you, right? So, like, do you put that on your back, or is it any part of your body that you feel the need to kind of get that pressure point going, like your
Yeah,
feet,
so
maybe
so
your
you
hands?
basically you'll roll any part, like you'll have it on the ground or against the wall, and
Uh-huh.
you'll roll it back and forth. And I do it. So in my morning routine, I do my feet and my
Mm,
lower legs and my kind of
that's
my
good.
my groin area,
That's
and if I
good.
need to, I'll do my shoulder, because these are risk areas for me, because
Mm-hmm.
we all have, in our kinetic chain, we all have weaker links. So I make
Mm-hmm.
sure I do it on my weaker links to make sure I'm in
Yeah.
the
And
best
I'm glad
possible.
you actually mentioned that groin area. I'm going to speak about that more on my Charlene Hill channel, guys, because a lot of us don't pay attention to that area, And I know that's not today's topic, but I just have to lay that in there. You guys know I'm all about healing and wellness. So we're going to talk about that and how to pay attention to that area and your lymphatic nodes and all those things, how to give yourself massages to kind of stay healthy. And I'm telling you this because I just went through something. You hear my voice? And sometimes it's good to be sick, don't get me wrong, a cold or something like that, because it's just your body saying, slow down and rest. I have gotten so much sleep over the last weekend. I'm so grateful. So just giving you guys a little something that take care of yourself, especially now with the cold coming in. Just do
Mhm.
what you need to do to upgrade your immune system, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I just had to get that in. That's my
Oh,
healing.
no, I love it. I love it.
Mhm.
And that's something I might try and identify at all times, is where are my weak points and what do I improve? I'm constantly tinkering with my routine. You want me to keep going, walk through my day?
Absolutely, of course.
All right. So after my that morning activation, I take my cold plunge, so 12-minute cold bath. Then I have my breakfast, which is a little bit of Greek yogurt with a whole bunch of supplements and a whole bunch of different just different like nuts and fruits and stuff, and then a cup of green tea to it. After that, I'll do some work. I'll do my morning kind of goal setting and gratefulness exercises. While I'm working, I have a standing desk, and then I have a treadmill, actually. So I'm actually walking while working, so I get some extra steps in. I'll usually get
Oh,
an hour and a half of work done before I go to the gym, and then I work out, and it's a lot of rubber bands as well as weightlifting. So I'll do about 1.5 2 hour workout pretty
wow.
much every day, and then and stretch and everything, and then I come back. I have two kind of small lunches, which is a separation of a bunch of different like powders, like wheatgrass and stuff like that, as well as protein powders and stuff. So I've split those into two, because it's too much in one. And then during the day, I keep working until right around 12 o'clock is where I have an energy dip in my day. Between 12
Mm,
and 3, my energy is a lot lower. And so usually I give myself a little bit of grace between 12 and 1, and kind of do simple tasks. I'll often, I'll turn on the TV and I'll watch, if I want to watch a football game or if I want to watch a TV series, and I'll kind of jump back and forth between tasks and watching. So I'll do a task and then I'll reward myself with a 5-minute break, and I'll go back and forth. Because I'm in a dip. If I get anything done during that energy dip, it's awesome. Often I do kind of different meditations and just and or tidy up the house, just stuff that needs to be done but doesn't take a lot
mhm.
of energy. And then at 1, between 1 and 3, the rest of my dip, I always have meetings. So for me, we're we started this at 2:30. It's now 3 o'clock.
Mm,
So I can always get up for a meeting, for a call. Like I can always lift my energy for it. And so it works really well to have my meetings in that period. And then coming
Mm-hmm.
out, I usually stay on that high, on that energy. So that just primes me for the rest of the day. I'll usually work until 4. Then my kids come the week I have the kids. Otherwise, I
Mm-hmm.
might get a little more work, and then I usually have practice. I play. So I want to say football, but Americans would call this soccer.
Soccer. I'm a Caribbean baby, so I know exactly what you mean, and it makes more sense to call it football because
Yeah.
you can do anyway. It's a whole lot
Yeah,
of time.
there's a brilliant sketch, by the way, where they kind of mentioned this, a Saturday Night Live sketch called Washington's Dream. If you haven't seen it, it is the best sketch I've ever seen on Saturday Night
Really,
Live,
I've
and that's
never heard
saying
of
something.
it.
Oh, so go, just search on YouTube for Washington's Dream. There's 2 parts. The first one is the good one. Well, great one. The other one is fine, but the first one you'll love it.
Okay. Maud, could you put that in the chat for me so when I rewatch this, I can see that Washington's Dream? Just type it in there so I can go look that up. Thank you for that. I love
Oh, it's
information.
hilarious. It's hilarious.
Absolutely. So, I always invite my guests to talk about, and I can't even imagine what you do just based on who I feel that you are.
Mm.
How do you give back to our planet to making sure that our planet will be here for generations to come? How do you give back, either maybe to the earth and the way you do business, or to organizations that support the continuation of our planet? Whatever it is you do on the.
I love that you asked that because we actually had a big workshop just this week with the team. Well, it started last week. It's kind of been ongoing, but we sat down as first the leadership in the company, and then we did this on a whole call for the entire team. And we have a book. We call it our internal kind of culture and brand book, where we talk about all of these things, our values and what we do. And one of the big things we changed in the last week was, how do we measure success for us?
Hmm,
And I mean, we want to grow the company, right? Revenue is really important, but not
absolutely.
because like we make more money. It's because the more we make, the more we can do, right? It's that,
Absolutely.
if at the level we are now, we expect to service about 250,000 people next year. If we can grow, maybe we can get that to 2.5, 25, 30 million, right? So the bigger we get, the more important. So money is really important, but as you
Mhm.
were saying before, right? It's because it amplifies you. It means
Exactly.
you can do more. So yes, it's an important measure, but it's not the measure that we use as a team. We agreed on 3 separate measures that we will be posting on our website, hopefully early next year, so that everyone can kind of track, are we doing what we've said we're going to do. So the first one,
That's a big step now. You're no,
yeah, no,
that's
it's gonna be out there. We have to
yeah.
deliver, and it's really exciting because it ties to the impact we have on our clients, the impact
Mhm.
we have on the planet, and the impact we have on global communities. So
Yeah.
the first one is directly like, this is what we do for our clients, and it's we're calling it Lives Changed. And we're going to count every single person whose lives we have changed as a result from our trainings or our courses. And
Right.
basically that will be based on them agreeing to do just, and it's just 30-second recording, but an actual video recording where they share, because I went to a Swedish Wealth Institute event, now I have, well, it can be like you, Charlene, right? Now I have 30 courses that I was able to create through AI, and my business is booming. That would be a live change, right? So it has to be real world tangible results that, like, this happened because of, and they will
Absolutely.
all be provable with the video. So it's not just like numbers, it's actual people.
Yeah. I love
And
that.
it's important for us,
Real
and
change.
yeah, and it's because we I want my team to never forget, because we always have at least 10,000 people sign up for one of our summits, often 20, even 20,000 or more. And you look at how many signed up, how big a percentage actually showed up to the event, how many
Mhm.
took the next step, and so on. And it very quickly can become numbers on a spreadsheet. And I never want us to forget that, like, 10,000, that's not 10,000 registrants, or, it's not
Mhm.
10,000 in our CRM system. This is 10,000 people that
Yeah.
we are serving and have a chance to change their lives. And let's see how many come out the other side and actually tell us that we did.
I
And
love
that's
how
all.
much you care. I just really admire that. Ugh, I'm so emotional. I'm so sorry, but
Oh, I
these kind
appreciate
of
it.
things, when I hear it, it just touches me in such a beautiful way. Like, right on, you know? We need more people like you to make great money and just be such a great blessing to this planet. Keep
Oh, I
doing what you're
appreciate it.
doing. I'm
And I mean,
telling
that's
you.
one of the things we're always looking to work with people. We've started an affiliate program where people can, share our events with friends, and they'll earn a commission. And
Oh,
our
cool.
second measure for what we do, they'll support this as well. Because, like I said, our events are free to attend, but for each person that attends one of our events, or register, not actually shows up, they register for one of our events.
Hmm.
Just the act of registering, we've now just agreed with Eden Reforestation Projects that for each person that registers for one of our events starting January 1st, we will donate the equivalent to them so that they can reclaim 1 square meter of barren land and turn it back into woods.
Oh my God.
So our goal is to reclaim at least 250,000 square meters of land next year.
Oh my God. Talk about giving back to our planet. Hello.
Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, we're really excited about it, and I love that they've allowed us to make it so measurable. Like, we're not just giving them a sum. It's like, for each person, it's literally 1 square meter of woods that's going to come back to this planet, and we're really excited about that. And obviously, that means for anyone who shares about our events, hopefully they'll make a bunch of money in commissions, and we have a way so they can generate recurring passive income as a result. But just
Hmm.
the act of sharing it with your friends, and one of your friends signing up, and just yourself signing up, means that, for each 1 square meter of woods is back on this planet, which is really cool.
Absolutely. So tell us, for those of us that are interested, how do we sign up for that? Do we need to be living in?
You can be anywhere. I mean, we do events now. So all of our events currently, we're going to be doing live events again, but all of them are virtual.
Hmm.
So we do the North American time zone, we do the EU time zone, and we do Asia Pacific. So
Okay.
you can promote all of the events and all the time zones, or,
Cool.
you pick the one that is most relevant for you. We actually have. So you were obviously on the U.S. summit, or the North American summit that was 3 weeks ago. It
It's been
was.
that long already. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know it's exactly 3 weeks because we're doing a replay of that event starting tonight. So for
Oh.
anyone who missed
Okay.
it, there's like a second chance.
Hmm.
And if you want to, the easiest way to sign up for the affiliate program is to just go to the swedishwealthinstitute.com/events. You can see our coming events. And by signing up for one of these summits, so we have our events from our speakers are published there as well. But you just find the Your Path to Financial Freedom, like the 4-day summits. And if you register for example, the one that starts tonight, at the bottom of every email, there is an invite to join the affiliate program and share it with friends.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
I think
and we
that's
have we
beautiful.
haven't added yet that, we're going to donate 1 square meter, because we're not doing it until after New Year's. So we don't want to make people think that we're doing it now. but
Right.
but you can sign up there. And in fairness, though, our first event is January 22nd. We'll probably start the marketing for it just before Christmas. Anyone who signs up between Christmas and New Year's, we still will be donating. I mean, it will be the total of all the events during the year. And I mean, the idea is to continue forever. So I say
Absolutely.
from January 1st, but technically, it'll be the event starting January 22nd. And as soon as you sign up for it, like, you don't have to wait to January 2nd to sign up. You can
Hmm.
sign up right away, and we'll make the donation.
Okay, that is fantastic, and thank you so much. My mod is amazing. K Plus already dropped that link for those of you that would love
Oh,
to
nice.
sign
Yeah, there
up.
you go.
You could just click on that link and get going. But guys, really and truly tap into these events. They are great. You're going to learn so much. You're going to get so much reminders for those of you that already know a lot. You're going to
Mm.
get reminders. And sometimes we all need those little reminders like, oh, yeah, I can do that or I can do this.
Oh, and
You're
it's the
not
small tweaks, right? I mean,
exactly.
I learned just from this last presentation, like goal setting is to me a real key. Like
Oh my
I'm
God. I
very
love
goal
Brian Tracy for
oriented.
that, by the way. He's
Yeah,
helped me so
I was
much.
just gonna mention him because I love, I always have goals. Like they're written down all over the place. But he just reminded us to every day write down 10 goals, like physically write down 10 goals every day. And I wasn't doing that before and I tried it and I love it. So it's like you'll find, it might not be like, oh my God, I changed everything. But if it can just be one tweak that you can do, the
Mhm.
days you've spent will be worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. I did like a whole live or maybe more than one live just based off of his teaching with goal setting
Yeah.
because as I teach, I learn.
Yeah.
So, pardon me. When I learn something, I like to share it with my community and I let them know, like, hey, I'm not learning this too. We're learning together. And
Yeah.
it really has been so helpful. I cannot tell you. And how good it feels when you check off, you're like, oh, shoot, I actually accomplished that goal. It feels amazing. And you can look
Yeah.
back and see where you were and the little steps, baby steps. My God, they really make a big impact for me personally, especially if it's a big goal. I'm like, oh my God, am I going to ever achieve this? But when I break it down into small, achievable, I'm like, oh my God, Brian, if I could just hug him and say thank you.
He once said something so brilliant for me was, um, and he was talking about time management, but I've taken it for our team. It's one of our core values now, and it just goes into all aspects of what
Mhm.
we do. Is if we can become 1% better every day,
Oh my gosh.
then we're unstoppable. And I've told everyone in the team that if they and 1% better, the beauty is it can be within anything. Like if they
Mhm.
can improve one thing about themselves, or if they can see one task in the business that can be automated, or one just an email title that can be improved, or
Mhm.
whatever, just one, if they can make one positive difference at a systemic level, that we can then put into every event we do, we now change this. And it can be as small as just, hey, I missed, we hadn't added an exclamation point to the end of this sentence, I did it now. That makes us 1% better. And if everyone does that every single day, then we scale and grow, and our impact goes through the
Absolutely.
roof like no one else. And if we can all do that in our lives, if we can just find one thing that we
Mhm.
can do a little bit better, that we can be a little bit healthier, that you can make sure you're taking that 10,000 steps, so you lose that 0.1 pounds today, then you've become a little bit better, right? And it doesn't have to be big, right? 1% is
It's
very
so
little.
funny. I actually get upset when I lose weight, and it's so funny because I just weighed yesterday and I lost 2 pounds because I wasn't feeling my best. I wasn't eating much. That was ticked off. Like, are you kidding me? Because I work hard to gain when I hit 100, I feel amazing. But
Oh,
now I'm back to 96. I'm like, are you kidding me? But I've learned to love and appreciate me. Someone in the chat is saying it all starts with personal health. And absolutely, when your health
yeah.
is not on point, you realize that's the most paramount thing, at least in my opinion. So the best defense is a good offense.
Yeah.
Play the game to win it. I mean, some days you might not feel your best. Like, how do you show up for yourself and for the people that you serve when you're not necessarily feeling your best, Danielle?
Well, I was actually having a really interesting conversation yesterday with a friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
She's completely different from me in how we function. So for me, I am very, very structured. I have my to-do list every day, which means, if I'm not feeling it, I might pull stuff off of that to-do list. I might say, you know what, this isn't urgent. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll give myself some grace. But I'll always get stuff done every day. So I have that consistency. So for me, that's
Mhm.
the big part. Every single day I'm making that 1% progress and we're moving towards the goal. She, on the other hand, she's got ADHD. So she
Mm.
has these explosions of creative energy where she has just this absolutely genius level output. And then she'll have periods of like total, catatonic paralyzation where she just doesn't get stuff done.
Oh my
And
God.
she's tried to find ways, like she's very good on social media, so she'll, in those
Mm-hmm.
periods she'll often be like editing a video or just connecting with people. But even
Interesting.
there, we were talking about that, is she's starting to more and more give herself grace for those
Yeah.
down periods. And then
Mm-hmm.
whenever she has one of those up periods, she makes sure to like, all right, I have everything I need to do is close at hand. Like I'm not going to let one of those, and we did some depressing math to kind of really hammer it home. We kind of, calculated how much, how many days do we still have? We said we kind of, let's say we have 100 years left, which means we
Mm-hmm.
have 36,500 days. And if she averages 2 of those kicks a day, she'll have about 70,000 of these like creative flows left in her life. And that's it. Like that's what she's got. So she can't let a single one of them go to waste because she only has
Mm-hmm.
70,000 of them.
No,
So
that's a good way to look at it. It makes you kind of feel, I don't want to say urgency, but you know what? I got to get this in. I have to make this matter. I have to make this count. Because
yeah,
sometimes we
and for
feel a
her, she
little
can get so
lethargic. Like,
distracted, right? ADHD,
mhm.
right? So
Yeah.
what she's done now is she has overview, because she needs to work on different projects. She needs to be able to jump, right? That's the ADHD brain, right? So she now has them all in front of her around her desk, so that when she comes into this flow, she can go, great, I'm going to do a couple things there. Oh, that sounds exciting. I'll do some things there. And she can spend that, whatever it is, 10 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, how long she is in that flow. And everything is available. She's not going to go off and get distracted and do something else, because all the fun stuff is right here in front of her. And that works. And like I said, for me, it's more about, I have my to-do list. I know what I'm going to do today. I hammer it out. When I'm in my flow, great, let's go and do the big task. When I'm in my dip, I turn on the TV. I go, great, I'll pause, do a task, and now I reward myself with 5-10 minutes of TV. I maybe take a nap. I'll take a warm bath. Like I'll take it a little easy. But when I'm in my flow, like I always know I'm going to get my to-do list done every day, and it doesn't matter when in the day I do it, because it's going to get done.
You're flexible with it. I like that because I am kind of like that. I don't know how I'm going to feel when I wake up tomorrow, but I hope it's amazing. And you said something earlier that I meant to kind of touch back on, that feeling of gratitude. You do your gratitude before you get out of bed or during your exercise routine?
No, and it was actually funny. I was talking to it was when I was talking to Mark Victor Hansen just yesterday for
Mhm.
for the podcast. I was interviewing him, and he talked about Napoleon Hill and the Think and Grow Rich.
One of my
And
first
because,
mentors when I
yeah,
started this whole journey. Yeah.
oh, amazing book, right? And he was talking about how, well, I was asking him how they kept going when they were turned down 144 times for Chicken Soup for the Soul. And he kind of said that, well, he referred to Napoleon Hill, and he said, well, if it's got to be a burning obsession, it's got to be
Yeah.
the last thing you think about when you go to bed, it's got to be the first thing you think about in the morning.
Hmm.
And I kind of didn't realize how true that had gotten to me. Like I literally have to fall asleep. I have to force myself to finally go, all right, good, the business can wait till tomorrow. Go to sleep.
I could
You
relate.
need that sleep. I, I,
Yes.
I've literally had to develop my own technique for falling asleep, where I actively start a movie in my head. Like I'll start like a journey and experience that I has to be so immersed, so fully, I can get so immersed in that I'm not thinking about the business. And only then will my brain allow me to fall asleep. And the
Wow.
first thing I do when I wake up is I check my phone to see what is my team doing, because they're in the different parts of Asia, most of them. So they're already working when I wake up, and I want to see what's happened during the night. How many new
Mhm.
podcast listeners do we have? How did our ads go overnight? Because we're doing to Australia and the US. So they're, while I'm sleeping, those ads are running. and I want to see what happened. Like, what have I missed? What have I missed here during the
Brilliant.
night? Um,
Mm,
and so no, I don't do gratitude the first thing. I do that and I get up, and then I get myself ready. I'm checking my phone. I'm sending messages, and then I take my walk, and I don't do my gratitude until after my breakfast. So I've
mm,
done my morning activation and foam rolling. I've done my cold plunge. I've eaten my breakfast, and then I go to and do my gratitude, because it takes me that long to kind of
mhm,
go through everything I want to check, and like, all right, I got to do that, and I can't calm down and go, all
mm.
right, let me do me now, until I'm there. Like, it takes that amount of time for me to kind of just get through all the fun stuff, and then we can focus on me.
Gotcha. That's beautiful. I usually do mine like as soon as I wake up. Like, oh, I'm just grateful to be alive. Like yesterday, I was just hugging my body and just appreciating every part of me, head, toes, fingers, everything,
Oh, that's
But
brilliant.
yeah, it just felt so good to love and appreciate me just as I am, flaws and all. I love
Mm,
me. Um, what I wanted to ask you is about focus. How do you really maintain like that laser focus? Is it because of the way you set your goals that helps you to stay focused? Is it because of your commitment to family, to others, to yourself, a combination of it?
that's a brilliant question, and I think there are many different parts that go into it. I've realized it's the same thing with health. I've realized there is no silver bullet. Like, people will ask me, what kind of an impact does your ice plunge have? I'm like, I have no idea. I'm doing 50 different things. It's doing something, but I don't know what. Um, and it's the same thing here. I mean, it's partially all of those things, right? And I think it comes back to, like, why am I so focused? It's I think the biggest part is I try to keep as few things in my mind as possible. So I used to, when I was younger, I've always been very structured, right? So I've had my to-do lists and things, but they used to be in my head. So, like, when I went to the store to buy groceries, right, I would just remember all the things I needed to go buy. And, I'd go to the store and I'd pick up everything, and, you'd forget something because it was a list of like 50 things and I didn't write it down. But as I, got wiser, I started writing more and more things down. And what I do now is I try to keep nothing in my brain. So as soon as I have an idea, as soon as I have a thought, as soon as I realize I need to do something, I pick up my phone and I use Trello. So I have a Trello board, and I just add it to the list. And that means I don't have to remember it anymore. And it literally is deleted from my brain. So if I haven't written it down, I'll never remember it again.
Oh
But I can
wow.
always then go to my Trello board and go like, oh right, yeah, that was what it was. And so one of my exercises I'm going to do today is, because our team has been scaling so quickly and I've been delegating so many tasks, and I have such a structured to-do list, but as soon as I'm done something, I'm done with it. I don't really think about it again. I
Mm-hmm.
kind of, we were sitting going like, what is everyone in the company doing? What is their important parts? And I kind of looked at it and went like, what am I actually doing now? Like, I've given away, building and setting up the events. They do that. Yeah, I host them, but what? That's once a month. Like, I must be doing something else with my time. And it's like, yeah, I guess I'm recording the pod. I'm doing this, but I'm going to sit down and really have to go and look at, like, am I actually now doing the most important tasks I can, or am I just going on inertia?
Mm-hmm.
Am I just moving by momentum? Is there anything else I should be prioritizing, and is there more things I should be delegating? um, so my focus is kind of now a built system. In many ways I've become almost robotic in it, where my to-do list tells me do this, and I go, okay, then I will. And I have to remind myself to sometimes go back and go, wait, why am I doing this, and what
That's
should
so
I
funny.
be doing right now?
And
So
I'm
yeah.
laughing because during the summit, people were like, "Wait, are you AI?" Because we were talking about AI clothes. They're like, "Are you AI?" He's like, "No, I'm real." I'm like,
Yeah.
I
Oh
thought
man,
that
I
was
kept getting
so
that. I'm like,
funny.
yeah, I can't talk like me. This is a real person. But it's
Mm-hmm,
scary though. The fact that we're not a
mm-hmm,
100% sure.
Yeah.
is really really terrifying, and that's one of the reasons why I'm so happy we have Kane at our summits, because he's an absolutely, I mean, he is the best AI teacher for entrepreneurs. Like if you want to build your own AI, that's a different
Yeah.
teacher,
I
but if
actually
you
saw
want to
him
use
yesterday
AI.
because I went into the thing for the first time because I wasn't able to start because I wasn't feeling my best. But I went
Yeah,
into like the live because he does like, you could
yeah,
start it on your own and you could also tap into the lives. I was like, oh my God,
yeah.
he's actually here doing this himself. I thought it
Oh,
would be
he's
like a different
insane.
instructor. He showed up. I was like, this
Oh,
is
he
great.
shows up twice a week for the AI sprint,
Hmm.
twice a week for the AI course creator, and twice a week for his AI consultancy certification. All of them live, all of them him every week. And the crazy thing is, once those courses are over, it's not over. He right away it starts over with
Yeah.
lesson one again, because like the AI sprint is I think it's 16 weeks,
Mm.
and so by the end of 16 weeks, sadly,
Yeah.
AI has changed. It's different now. So they
Yeah.
redo the first lesson again based on like, well, we're talking about, what's going on in with what you call like large language models, right? Like ChatGPT or written ones. And it's like,
Mhm.
well, what I told you, 3 months ago is still true, but now all of this has happened. So let's do this again, and it's absolutely amazing. I'm going
I
through the
love that.
course for the fourth time.
Yeah, that's actually one of the things that made me got into it because I know it's going to keep updating and it's for
Yeah,
life. You're locked in. I'm like,
yeah,
this is a great investment for me because I've been wanting, like, let me tell you, I've been wanting to do a course for so long, but I don't know how to start, where to start. Like tech
yeah.
stuff is not my strong suit. Like
Mm.
I'm more of like the creator, like this. Get me in front of the camera and I'm ready to go, but I
Oh,
don't
and
want
I'll
to
tell
set
you,
everything up.
you will love getting into Catalyst. So that's the
You
CRM
mentioned that, but
system
I'm like,
he's
I have
going to give
no
you.
idea what that is.
Yeah, so it's a CRM system. So they're going to, they're going to build all your landing pages, all your
Oh
automation and
gosh,
stuff. And I
yeah,
mean, it's a system. So you will either do it yourself or you can pay them to just do it all for you.
yeah. I think I
What they
might
also
pay.
have is they're developing an AI course, like catalog creator.
Hmm.
So they'll like interview you with maybe 2-3 hours of interview, and then they
Mm.
can actually create your entire courses for you
Oh my
just
goodness.
automatically using AI.
Hmm. Beautiful. And what I love is that you don't lose you. It's not just AI, it's really your creation with the assistance of AI.
Oh yeah,
Because I was
it's
afraid
based on
of
you,
my
based on your
authentic
lessons,
voice.
based on what
Yeah.
you've been through, and it's your voice that they're trying to capture.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
the
to
more
me,
we can
that's
learn about
paramount.
it, the less well, I shouldn't say the less scary. It becomes more scary because you realize all the things it can do. But at the same time, the
It's
more you
amazing.
realize that you understand it and you'll be able to stay current with its development and kind of stay ahead of the game, which means you don't have to be afraid.
Somebody said something funny in the chat. If AI could make a perfect piece of toast for me, that's all I needed for. That is funny. Listen, educate yourself on AI because I was a little, I don't want to say apprehensive, but intimidated maybe because I'm not a very tech savvy person.
Yeah.
But I shouldn't say that. I'm learning to be tech savvy. And I just didn't know how to approach it, but I knew I wanted to learn because I'm very open minded. But at the same time, these barriers. But the more you learn and immerse yourself, it can make your life so much easier. There's so many aha moments to me, like, oh, I can do this, I can do that. And like, oh my goodness, it's amazing. It's a
Oh yeah.
rabbit hole, a universe upon universe of
Mm.
things that you can do. So I would invite you guys to embrace it and see how it can enhance your life. Not to say it will take over your life. It's not Terminator like we some of us might be thinking. It really is a beautiful tool. But
Yeah.
let's get back to you, our amazing guest. Guys, if you've not connected with Daniel as yet, this is Daniel Woods from the Swedish Wealth Institute, where he does amazing stuff to get information, education in front of us so that we can choose and pick what we need based on where we are in our life and how we're looking to improve and change our life. And I know most of you here, if not all of you, are looking to improve where you are in your life, whether it be with your entrepreneurial or personal. Tap into what he's sharing, his podcast, his website, and you will not regret it. Believe you me. And this is saying a lot coming from me because I don't just buy into people, but when you see a real person, you feel them and you just know what it is. Danielle is one of those people. And I just am so grateful that he took time out from his schedule to be here with us. This man speaks to thousands and millions of people, and he came to speak to our small community. And that's saying a lot. I really was grateful and surprised when he's like, "Of course I'll be on your show." I was like, "What?"
Oh, it's an honor. I'm super excited, and it was right back at you with your energy. This has been an absolute blast, and seeing from the chat, you have an absolutely amazing community. So I'm hoping we served you guys well. I'm hoping we get to serve you again and again, and definitely keep an eye out for these coming podcast episodes, because I was absolutely blown away. I mean, I try to go into those interviews and just like, I want to learn from you, like teach me stuff. So you'll hear in those, I was learning like crazy, like from Brian Proctor as a dad. That was completely insane. I mean, it was both
I can't
absolutely
wait to hear that
amazing.
one. I
Oh, it
cannot
was
wait.
amazing, and it was also really demoralizing, because it's like, that guy is so much better a dad than I am. I got to step it up. Like Bob Proctor was an amazing father, and I'm getting that from his son. So obviously that's what he was able to do, and it just
Beautiful.
inspires me to like, okay, I got to be a better dad for my kids. There's another level for me to get to.
Yeah.
With Jack Canfield and with Mark Victor Hansen, like what they did entrepreneurially, that just inspired me. Like, okay, how can I take our company? Like Jack was talking about the things he did with his team, and that workshop we've been running now for the last week. A lot of that came from what Jack talked about, like how he helped his team grow, and the fact that no one ever left his company because they
Wow.
were a family just inspired me to, yeah, I got to be a better boss. I got to do that better too. So they were incredibly inspiring, all these ones, and I definitely hope that everyone gets as much out of them as I did, because it is a game changer.
I'm pretty sure we will. Do I have about maybe 10 to 15 minutes more of your
Oh,
time
go
to
for
just
it. Yeah.
okay, perfect. So one of the things I like to ask is at your low point, and I'm just asking you to share maybe some wisdom, inspiration for any young new entrepreneur out there that might be going through some kind of low point where they feel like, oh my God, I just want to give up. Maybe this dream is not for me. Maybe it's not going to happen. What words of wisdom can you offer? And I'm going to give you a spotlight for this. I'm going to take myself
All right.
down and take it away.
I'm actually going to share a story about one of my old business partners who he kind of stabbed me in the back. So it's also a bad example, but this was with in the company. He kind of stabbed us in the back, and just wasn't a great business partner. But my now ex-wife and business, and both then and current business partner, we kind of we were talking about it. Obviously, we were hurt, and she kind of said, "Well, now that he leaves us, do you think he's going to be able to be successful without us?" And the reason why she said that was because he's not the smartest guy. He doesn't have the best values. He's very earnest, but he wasn't. He's not the brightest. You know, brightest of guys. And I said without hesitating, yes, he will be incredibly successful. I want to believe it will take longer without us than it would have with us, but he's definitely going to be successful because he has one trait that guarantees success. And she said, okay, well, what do you mean? What is that? So he's persistent. The man is persistent. He will never, ever give up, which means he will not fail, because failure only happens when you give up, and he will never, ever give up. So he has guaranteed himself the success. I don't know when, I don't know how long time, I don't know what shape it will take for him, but I know he will be successful. And it was interesting because as I said that about him, because this was while we were in that low point, that was one of the reasons why and he stabbed us in the back because the company wasn't doing well. So it was a great opportunity to do it. But as I was saying it about him, I kind of had that realization that it was also true for me, and that you know we don't have to be afraid. It might take longer than I want, and it feels like the world is falling apart, and it feels like everyone's going to know if we don't do this and that and the other thing, and what are they going to say, and all these fears that we have. But in the end, I knew that success was guaranteed because I wouldn't stop until I got it, and that also brought a bit of calm.
I'm back here laughing. He's like, he did it at a perfect time because the company was going under. I mean, if you can laugh about these things, I mean, that's just a beautiful thing to do because not saying that you want to be stabbed in the back, but because you've grown so much, you can just look past it like, you know what, it was just an experience. And that's all
Well, it's
life
a
is.
lesson, right? It's something
Yeah.
we've learned from. I now know, how do I structure a partnership? I learned that from that partnership. I've learned about, how do I lead a team because
Mhm.
I've had team members that weren't good. And in the end, if I had a team member that wasn't good, it wasn't because the team member was bad. It was either I recruited the wrong person or I treated the right person in the wrong way and they became bad. And either way, it's all about me. I'm the one who screwed it up.
Wow.
So it's all learning experiences.
That's some John Maxwell thinking there, as the leader,
Yeah.
you understand it's your responsibility. You
Rob Moore said that really well in that podcast episode with him as well. That when I interviewed him, that in the end, it's
I
all
love
my
him by
fault.
the way. He's just so raw and real.
Oh, Rob is amazing, isn't
Oh
he? He
goodness.
he
Well,
he
first
has.
time
I
meeting
was
him was
really
3 years
nervous
podcast
about
here.
that episode. I was like, are we going like coming into it? Like, am I gonna have an episode that I can air afterward, or is he just going to
Right?
rant off and like swear his way through this? But no, it went really well. He was absolutely amazing. But he is truly raw and honest, and I really
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, there's something about just being yourself, showing up that way, and people just love and appreciate it. Like I was like,
Yeah.
hell yeah, I love this guy. Um, so before we wrap things up, we do have a question in the chat, but I just wanted for you to tap on to just kind of like your childhood. What was your mindset? Because they say as a child, you kind of know who you're going to be career wise and stuff like that. What were some of the dreams you had? Like, what kind of boy were you? Were you thinking about
Well,
entrepreneurship?
not well. I always had a fascination for money, and that I have an accumulator personality, but I would definitely not say that I was born an entrepreneur.
Hmm.
My first dream was dinosaurs. My parents still talk about, like, I was 3 years old and I knew the name of every famous type of dinosaur.
Oh,
And
wow.
we were in the U.S. meeting family, and I'm sitting in the back seat, and I don't remember this, but I've heard the story so many times, so it feels like I remember it now. But I'm sitting in the back seat eating these little dinosaur crackers that my parents bought me, and my think it's an aunt or a friend of an aunt, like it's extended family, is sitting in the back seat, and she picks up one of these dinosaur crackers, and she's gonna mess a little bit with this 3-year-old, and she's kind of like, well, I know you like dinosaurs. I'm like, yeah. It's like, well, do you know the name of this dinosaur? And she holds it up, and she's like, yeah, he's 3, he's not gonna get this right. And I just look at her and go, Stegosaurus. And 2 3 years old, and I already know, I could name every one of the dinosaurs. So that was my first dream. But my true passion growing up was sports. I wanted to be a baseball star. That was the dream.
Oh,
And
wow. I'm
yeah, I
glad you didn't
busted
do
my
that.
knee. I didn't do the proper rehab, and that dream kind of disappeared. So
I'm glad it
that's
did.
that's why I took up soccer now. I took up soccer a few years ago. So I took up soccer when I was 33, and
Mhm.
I'm now playing Division 4. So I'm about 2 divisions out of
Oh, look at
the
you.
pro level. So if I can improve just a little bit more before my body starts breaking down,
Oh,
then then I might actually have my pro contract as a sports player that I've always dreamt of. So
look
it's
at you.
it's still alive, and I love a meme I saw on social media because I really it's like I so identify with it. And the joke was, do you know why men, when they go to games, like when they go to sports games, they always wear a jersey? It's not because they want to support their team. It's so the coach sees they've already changed and they're ready to jump on the field if they're needed. And I'm like, yep, that's me. Whenever I go, like if the coach needs me, I'm in. I'm ready to go.
You're ready for it.
Yeah, like
I would
I'm
love to
there. I'm
see.
there. So it's I think
Yeah,
I still have that little boy's dream of playing in front of a crowd of thousands of people and
yeah. You
being a
never know.
sports
I think it
star.
can happen. I think it
Yeah,
could
well,
happen. I'm glad you didn't have your dreams of baseball though, because just being selfish, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing now. So I'm
no,
grateful.
I've been very blessed. I always say life happens for me. It doesn't happen to me. And if my sports dreams had happened, if I hadn't gotten ripped off when I started in real estate, all these, if I hadn't been, stabbed in the back by different partners, like if all these things hadn't happened, I wouldn't have been here, and I wouldn't have been ready for everything that's happening now. So it's all a blessing, even though at
Absolutely.
some point, one of my mentors, he always says, when the universe has a message for you, it'll first whisper it in your ear.
Mm,
If you don't listen, it will tap you on the shoulder. And if you
yes.
still don't listen, it will slap you across the face.
Yep.
And I've learned that I've had a habit of not listening. So that's why I've been slapped a few times. So I'm trying to
Learned
be
the hard
better at
way.
listening.
Absolutely. So let's get to that question. Oh, it kind of ties into what I was saying. And when did you know you want to be an entrepreneur?
Yeah, it truly happened organically. Like I have had an entrepreneurial spirit. Like I did kind of keep my eyes open. I've always been kind of business savvy. But when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, I wasn't looking at the B quadrant. I was looking at the I quadrant. I just wanted to get out of my job. I wanted to do real estate, not really to be a real estate entrepreneur, but just to be an investor. Just get some properties, get some passive income, go
Mm-hmm.
stay on a beach somewhere, right?
Yep.
And that's why I say I'm blessed that went poorly, because otherwise I would be living in Bali now on a beach with my ex-wife and not affecting anyone's life at all. Now instead, I have a completely different life where we're affecting people all over the world, and we're
Purpose.
still business partners. We're just not in a relationship anymore, and we're having that global impact. So yeah, it came kind of organically, really. It was, we became entrepreneurs to fix the property business,
Mm-hmm.
and then I realized that I absolutely love doing what we do. And I'm dismantling what's left of my property portfolio. I have 2 properties left that I have to get rid of. Once we're done with that, then this is it. This is what I do, and it's what I love to do.
Ah, beautiful. Beautiful. So, my last question for you before we close it out, and everyone that's here, everyone that's seen this after, thank you so much for being here. I pray that this has been a blessing in some way, that you've learned a few things that you can take and implement in your own life. Remember to follow our guest, Danielle Wood. His links are all over the chat. It's also in the description for those of you that are coming later. I'm also going to put a pinned comment with his information. Make sure you follow him. You will not regret it. I promise you. You're going to be exposed to so many amazing people that are beautiful inside and out. Take it or leave it, because I know beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but take it from me. Beautiful inside and out. And you're going to learn so much. You're going to really be able to change your life. And that's what we're all about here, changing for the better, improving your wealth situation. Now, oh my God, I'm so sorry, Danielle. There's another question popping in my head. Are you
Oh,
okay for
let's
that?
go. Let's go.
All right. So the title of this particular podcast or live, whatever you want to call it, it's wealth is not what you think. How would you describe true wealth in your own words and experience?
Wow, that's a powerful question. So, what we've always done is we've split wealth into five different parts. So, the company's the Swedish Wealth Institute, which everyone kind of instantly goes, "Oh, great, let's go get rich." But for me, a wealthy life is about all five of these areas. So, money is one, financial is important. It's your health, it's your relationships, it's your spiritual growth, and it's your mission, career, or vision, whatever you want to call it. And if you can hit on all five of those, then you're living a truly wealthy life.
Absolutely. I love that. I like to include freedom in mine. And I
Yeah.
guess it comes in with the time and money freedom because sometimes people that have a lot of money don't have a lot of time on the opposite as
Yeah,
well.
I mean it all goes into
Yeah,
each
I
other. Like if you we call it the financial because money buys you that time. But it can also completely fail too if you're not doing it right. So
exactly.
it depends on how you structure things.
Totally, exactly. All right, so my final question, how did you start your journey to cultivate that unstoppable mindset? That mindset that keeps you going no matter what happens. Where did your ethics come from? Is this your upbringing? Because I know that you really care. You could have just say, "Oh, forget these investors. I'll just go start over." But no, you didn't do that. You said, "No, I made a promise, a commitment." Like, where did your ethics come from? That mindset to care for others, that mindset of true success. And I know I'm asking kind of like two folded questions.
Yeah,
Can I
that's
just
two
call it?
that's two really interesting questions in one. So I'm going to answer the ethics question first. I'm That must have definitely come from my parents.
Mm,
So both my parents were journalists or are journalists. They're now retired, but so
mm,
are were depends on how you look at it. But they both worked with minority questions, especially my mom worked with different minorities, and her last job was working in Rwanda and Kenya
mm,
to help them improve their school for journalism to combat corruption. So they've always done things for other people, and I've met people from all over the world as a result. So I think that's where I couldn't have screwed over people because that would have been wrong. It's just plain and simple, right? For me, it wasn't that much of a decision. With the unstoppable mindset, it's actually a little funny. You got me thinking, and I think it really started. So the first job I ever had was in sales. It was like telephone marketing, and the two parts to it. One was the company actually took us to a seminar with Brian Tracy. So that was my first ever seminar, which is why it's so cool that he now speaks at ours. It's like full
right.
circle. Um, and that started it obviously. But what then happened was couple of the salespeople, because I was pretty good at my job. They started coming to me and asking me for advice and feedback on how they could do better, and we kind of started up a it was like the daily tip kind of thing we would do. So every day these people would come and I would give them like, this is what we're going to focus on today. And it would be people from different parts of the company, and it might be today we're going to high activity, or we're going to do this, or we're going to try this thing. And after a while that petered out because there were only so many things you could do before I had to start repeating myself. But as we did this, and I guess this is a part of that entrepreneurial side, I started a blog and I started posting these tips on the blog. And as I realized, and they realized that, all right, he's kind of run out of stuff to say now. I didn't want to stop doing the blog, so I started reading on personal development, and I
Mm,
committed to myself to write one book review a week on the blog. And because that would also give me stuff to write during the week, I wrote one blog post a day for probably 3 or 4 years.
wow.
And so I had to kind of think about what I was learning. I had to think about what I was implementing and trying, and I had to read one book every week so that I could write my book review. And I tried to read more because some books were just not very good, and I didn't really want to leave negative reviews. So I sometimes had to read more than one book so that I could leave a good review. And I think that, just reading that much over a 3 4 5 year period, and obviously that then set a habit that I still read a lot. I think that really allowed me to, because when you learn to teach, you learn it deeper. And
True.
so I had to learn to teach, and then I had to implement and try, because I couldn't tell other people to do things, then I wasn't doing it. So I became my own little bit of a social experiment, and
Mhm.
it really helped. And I don't know how many people that actually read the blog. It was, it was my little thing, but it had the effect that I was my own reader, at least, and I learned a lot in that period. And I don't know, I was maybe 20, 21 years old when I started that. And
Okay.
so for the next 5 years or so, I just learned a lot and I grew a lot.
Yeah, I think
I
that's
became a morning
beautiful.
person. I was
Hmm.
not a morning person before that, but I learned a technique and I changed my habit and I became a morning person.
I'm still a work in progress with that. Still a work in progress. Some days I'm a morning person, some days I'm not. I just go with the flow of things. But, I try to do whatever it is that makes Charlene feel amazing. And
That's
every
the
day is
goal.
not the same day, but we do what we can. We do what we
Yep.
can. Absolutely. So, guys, you heard it from the man himself, Daniel Wood. Mindset. And we talk a lot about mindset here. Your mindset is everything. It affects the way you feel, the way you think, the way you vibe, what you attract to you. Don't neglect taking care of your mindset each and every day. And I know there's a lot of information out there, a lot of noise that might make you feel down and out, but you have to know what you're allowing into your vibration. You have to be a guard of your mind. Do not take for granted what you listen to, what you look at, your environment, and how it affects you. That's why I always suggest every day take time to reflect on your day before you go to bed. And sometimes you just have to breathe and release things because sometimes we're unconsciously taking things in and it's affecting us without us realizing. So just take
Yeah.
time, just a minute, just reflect. Even if it doesn't surface consciously in your mind, just think about how am I feeling right now? Because sometimes you just feel the tension, but you don't know why you're feeling it. And just freaking breathe. It will
Mhm.
reset you, will help you to release, and you just feel so much better, so much lighter, so that you can go to that peaceful sleep that you so deserve. And someone mentioned soothing music in the chat. I suggest 432 hertz because that vibes with me, and I just feel like it's the most natural vibe that you can sleep to. But before we close it out, thank you so much to our special guest. Everyone, please say thank you to Daniel for coming and sharing with us. Make sure you connect with him. And I'm going to let him close it out. I'll give him a spotlight to just share any last word of wisdom, encouragement for a wonderful community out there in the conscious business service and opportunities community. Thank you so much, Danny. Take it away.
Oh, Charlene, I really appreciate it. And I really appreciate everyone watching. I hope I get a chance to connect with each and every one of you. Again, either come and listen to the Swedish Wealth Institute podcast, where been blessed to talk with some of the most amazing people in the world. And we have the episodes with, we've already interviewed Les Brown and Nick Vujicic and Joseph McClendon III. And we have the episodes with Jack Canfield and Robert Kiyosaki and Marcy Shimoff and Mark Victor Hansen coming out. So I hope I get to connect with you there. Obviously, at the summits, we'd love to give you a free ticket to those events. And as I mentioned earlier, we'll be donating enough to reclaim 1 square meter of land, but turn it back into woods as a thank you for you registering. So I'd really, really appreciate you guys joining. And with that, whatever you do, like whatever you take away from this, I hope that you feel that, it's possible, no matter where you are, no matter how old you are, how young you are. Like you can do more than you expect. Tony Robbins says it so well. He says, uh, most people overestimate what they can do in a decade, in a year, but they greatly underestimate what they can do in a decade or decades. And I think that if you've been doing this, if you've been trying to, figure out success for the past year or even couple years, don't worry. Like, it takes a while to get it right. It took me at least a decade. It depends on when you start counting from, but if you start from when I really started getting into this world of personal development, it took me over probably about 2 decades to figure enough out to call myself whatever level of successful I would call myself now. And I think that's okay. It takes the time it takes, and it's okay. And just keep making progress, 1% better every day, and you are unstoppable. So, yeah, Charlene, maybe we leave it on that. 1% better every day, and you are unstoppable.
All right. You are unstoppable. And remember, you are wealthy. Feel it, believe it, see it, live it.
Yeah.
And remember, it's not just about the coins. Coins are important. But remember all those things that he mentioned that I usually mention too. We're on the same vibe here. So definitely take care of your health, your relationship, your spirituality, whatever that means to you, meditation, morning walks, whatever gets your spiritual vibe going, do it. We're all different. We all have our way of connecting with the divine within us, all around us. Do what you need to do to take care of yourself and those you love. Be a blessing to yourself and the world around you. Thank you for your time. Remember to like, share, subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, and definitely connect with our guests. Danielle Woods. Take care, everybody. Have an amazing rest of your day. Bye.